What's going on, Dolphin fans? It is your boy Dillon, and it's been a few days or a minute since I've made a video, but I got some, or a couple days, whatever. But I got some important updates on, just the status of the NFL and things going on. As we last understood, training camps were expected to be going on at some point. They still expect to open the season on time with fans in the stadiums, despite the massive spikes across the entire country of COVID, etc., etc. And they were still mulling over whether or not they were going to shorten the preseason and those kinds of things. And so we do have some updates, right? And so let's get right into that. The first part of that is the 2020 Hall of Fame game to be canceled and the enshrinement postponed. So that means this year they have officially now decided. So, mini camps were canceled, right? OTAs are canceled. Mini camps are canceled. Training camp is still scheduled to go on time despite the spikes, despite the fact that players in the NFL from several teams now have tested positive already before they get these, the entire teams back into the facilities. They're already having guys test positive. But despite all that, they are still pushing for training camp on time. But they have officially decided that the Hall of Fame game will be canceled. So the Hall of Fame game between the Dallas Cowboys and the Pittsburgh Steelers has been canceled. Let's note, though, that there are several players, including Zeke Elliott from the Cowboys, who have tested positive. So that might also have something to do with it. But anyway, the Pro Football Hall of Fame announced Thursday that the preseason opener, scheduled for August 6th, has been canceled due to the COVID-19 pandemic. In addition, the Hall of Fame enshrinement ceremony on August 8th has been postponed until 2021, so next season. 5 modern-era players, Steve Atwater, Isaac Bruce, Steve Hutchinson, Edgerrin James, and Troy Polamalu, coaches Bill Cowher and Jimmy Johnson, and 3 contributors, Steve Sabal, Paul Tagliabue, and George Young, were set to be enshrined this year. The health and safety of our Hall of Famers, fans, and volunteers who make Enshrinement Week so special remains our top priority. Pro Football Hall of Fame President and CEO David Baker said in a statement, "The Hall will honor the centennial class of 2020 next August, along with what promises to be an equally spectacular class of 2021. As part of a multi-day celebration of football with an atmosphere that will deliver for fans twice the fun in 21. That's all well and good, and that's obviously the smart thing and the thing that they should do, because this thing is out of control. And so far, the only recourse that anyone's taken that I've seen is Texas apparently decided to pause their reopening. What the fuck that means? My only guess is that they're going to stop opening more, but they're going to leave everything open that was already open, which was pretty much everything. So, okay, I guess, whatever. I don't know exactly what that's going to do. But there are states like Florida and Ron DeSantis, the governor there, who refuses to shut down. Donald Trump has cut funding to testing programs. And so this thing is going to continue to get worse and worse. But, whatever. Anyway, at least they did make, a correct decision in regard to this and have decided to cancel it and postpone the enshrinement, etc. With the Hall of Fame game no longer taking place, the Cowboys and Steelers are expected to report to training camp when the rest of the teams begin workouts in late July. The current training camp start date is July 28th, so the end of next month. About a month from now, so a month and a couple days or whatever. But the beginning of training camp is one topic NFL owners are expected to discuss in Thursday's video conference meeting, NFL Network insider Ian Rappaport reported. A fortnight ago, Baker said the game and ceremony were on pace to be played, but there were contingencies in place if postponement was necessary. In the end, the league felt it safest to cancel the game amid the pandemic. The Cowboys and Steelers have agreed to postpone their preseason matchup until August 5th, 2021, which will kick off next year's Enshrinement Week. And look, at the current pace that we're going, it's likely that I will be proven right and that there won't even be a season altogether. But if they continue to push this envelope, it's going to end up being a disaster, and tons of people are going to get sick and die, and it's going to be a mess. But anyway, so I mean, we'll just have to wait and see. Look, I've made, you know, my predictions on how things will play out if they continue to push this, and if they decide to do the smart thing. I've also told you my predictions. If they do the smart thing, then there's not going to be a season, so that one's easy. But we'll just have to wait and see what they ultimately decide as time goes on. But clearly, they are not trying to make decisions until the very last second that they have to. So, you know, that's not good either. Baker also said in an interview on NFL Now that the Hall of Fame had considered doing a virtual enshrinement for this year's class, but decided for a double-sized ceremony next summer. Yeah, I mean, look, whatever, dude. It's just, you know, it needs to happen. It really does. It's the first major NFL event the NFL has had to completely cancel due to the COVID-19. The live NFL draft in Las Vegas was wiped out, but the league still held it virtually, blah, blah, blah. So obviously that's all true. And look, I mean, like I said, they can keep pushing this as much as they can. Once training camp hits, it's going to be, like, I feel like that's the time where they have to make the decision one way or the other. Either we're going to shut down completely, or we're going to keep pushing and we're going to open. And so far, they are absolutely pushing to keep opening. So let's get into that a little bit more, because there are some more details on that. So Roger Goodell says, this is a Bleacher Report article, Roger Goodell says NFL plans to start training camps on time amid the pandemic. Okay, Goodell, well, you're a cunt and you're stupid and fuck you, but whatever. NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell said the league plans on opening training camps next month as planned and is seemingly determined to move forward with fan attendance. Goodell told reporters the plan is to get ready our games at our stadiums and to engage our fans both in stadiums and through our media partners on a conference call Thursday. While Goodell added that the league office is discussing options with the NFL Players Association, the league has offered no alternative solutions or indicated any plans to change course beyond the status quo despite the COVID-19 pandemic nearing its 4th month in the United States. I'm telling you, bro, if they keep pushing, it's going to be a fucking disaster. But the only reason why they're doing it is because they need to make their money. That's it. They don't care about people. They don't actually give a fuck about fans or their safety. If they really gave a fuck about fans and their safety, they wouldn't even consider having games with fans there. They wouldn't consider having the games, period, if they care about the safety of the players and the coaches, etc., etc. They're lying. They're flat out lying. They can say it all that they want. They can give the lip service, and they can put in these contingencies and these precautions, which absolutely, if you're going to go forward with it, you should put those in. But it's not a solution to the problem. It's not even close to a solution to the problem, and it's going to end up being a fucking disaster. So, I mean, look, man. But look, like I said, at the end of the day, if they keep this going, they absolutely 100% all need to be held accountable. Now so far, right, there haven't been any recorded deaths for anybody who, you know, in the NFL who's contracted the virus, right? Von Miller had got it, you know, a while back now, and he apparently had gotten over it and stuff, but now it's poking up in the NFL quite a bit, and if they keep pushing the way that they're going, it's going to outbreak throughout the NFL, teams, etc. But if people die from this, right? I mean, first of all, they should absolutely be held liable for anybody's hospital bills. Okay? The NFL should personally be held responsible for anybody's hospital bills. So should the teams for their players, etc., etc., the families, all of that. The fans that go to their stadiums, they should be held responsible for that. And if people die, they should also be held responsible, criminally responsible. So, you know, look, man, if they want to make their fucking billions and billions of dollars at the fucking risk of you know, fans and players and coaches and refs and blah, 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 well, okay, go for it. You can do that. But if people die because you forced this issue like fucking idiots, well, you should be held to full account, and you should be sentenced to fucking life in prison and rot until you fucking die. Anyway, Coronavirus cases have been skyrocketing in states that were among the earliest to reopen during the pandemic. Texas and Florida have become rapidly rising epicenters of the disease, with each state setting several records for hospitalizations and cases in recent weeks. California, though, one of the states that was supposedly, and honestly, California was one of the better states in the union, right, in the country. But we still didn't do it right. We didn't do it, exactly like we should have, and we still opened way too fucking early. So there were still massive mistakes made by even some of the better states and governors that were handling this situation. But it's exploding across this country. The United States posted its single-day number of coronavirus cases Wednesday. Record. It didn't, they left the word out there, but posted its single-day record number of coronavirus cases on Wednesday. While the NHL and NBA have put together plans that eliminate fan attendance, and MLB's 2020 season will either eliminate or greatly reduce fan attendance, the NFL seemingly plans to move forward without changes to its policies. The league has said it will listen to the medical community, but its plan for fan attendance at events runs contrary to suggestions made by Director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, Dr. Anthony Fauci. Of course, because they say that they're listening to the medical experts, but all the medical experts, the real medical experts, not the fucking hacks and fucking clowns that are in some of these establishments, right, like the federal government and the fucking state governments like Florida, the real doctors, the real experts are saying, you guys are morons, you shouldn't be opening anything, you shouldn't be doing any of this shit, you're fucking stupid, but they don't actually listen to them. They listen to the politicians and the CEOs and all of these people that are in power that are fucking money hungry and craven pieces of shit. That's who they listen to, and that's why their actions are contradictory to the, suggestions, the requirements, the warnings put out by the professionals, because they're morons and they only give a fuck about their money. Unless players are essentially in a bubble, insulated from the community, and they are tested nearly every day, it would be very hard to see how football is able to be played this fall. I mean, that's pretty much impossible, though. And they've said they're only planning on testing every 3 days. That's insane. That's insane. Okay. Fauci told CNN, if there is a second wave, which there is, except for the fact that the first wave never stopped, so you can't really even call it a second wave. It's just the first wave fucking coming back for another fucking several combos, including a couple fucking haymakers. So, okay. Which is certainly a possibility, and which would be complicated by the predictable flu season. Football may not happen this year. With COVID-19 cases spiking and state governments showing no signs of going back to stricter guidelines, it's hard to imagine the situation being solved by the scheduled July 28th opening of training camps in a safe enough manner to host fans. Let's also note that, John Harbaugh for sure spoke out against their plans, etc., etc. Let's also note that, yes, the NBA and stuff is planning on going back, but some of the players are like, yeah, I'm not playing, bro. Like, this shit is like, there was, I don't know how many or who exactly, but I saw at least one player from the NBA, one player from the WNBA. I think I saw somebody from maybe baseball or soccer, but there are players that are starting to come out and be like, yeah, bro, I'm not playing. Like, you guys are fucking stupid. You guys are crazy. I'm not going to put myself or my family's lives at risk because you morons think that it's okay to fucking risk people's lives just so you can get fucking richer. No, sorry, not going to fucking happen. Anyway, so, I mean, look, man, this is going to be a fucking disaster. But a little bit more. We are 33 days away. This is from CBS. We are 33 days away from when most teams are scheduled to begin training camp for 2020. By all accounts, it looks like the league is still on course. But look, I mean, the NFLPA and the NFL apparently have agreed on this, right? So that's what I was going to get into. The NFLPA even sent out a message to its players over the weekend urging them to halt group workouts. They did that, right? But they are in agreement to this point that they're still going to push for it. And that's part of why, but that's obviously coming from the NFLPA power structure, right? And that's why, when you look at just this is a quick side note, but when you look at the collective bargaining agreement, that's why I didn't trust that shit, because the details are garbage for the actual players. I'm sure there are plenty of young players that don't really understand what they were signing on to, you know, but certainly tons of the experienced guys were speaking out against it. And I feel like that deal was just made by the fucking corrupt power structure of the NFL and the NFLPA, the people who are at the very top, the executives of that or whatever, of the NFLPA, and they're just like, fuck it, man, because, you know, we get paid well too, and all this, that, and the other, and we need to keep things going. So fuck them all. They're all pieces of shit, and they don't really give a fuck about people, their safety, their health, or any of that. All they give a fuck about business is business as normal, and making sure that they pack stadiums and they can rake in all that fucking money. All right, well, hey, those are the updates I got for you. I've told you guys ahead of time. I've told you guys ahead of time how it's going to play out if they take whatever actions. So far, I've been pretty correct, right? So far, I've been correct in the fact that they've had to cancel, you know, a bunch of shit to this point because of the COVID-19 virus. It's looking like there's still a strong possibility I'll be correct that they'll shut down the entire season. But if not, I virtually guarantee you that I will absolutely be correct about what will happen on that back end. And if they let this thing open, if they open training camp, if they open stadiums with fans, mark my words, hear me now, quote me later, there will be outbreaks, lots of people will get sick, and people will die. And, I mean, if they keep still pushing after that, I mean, like, what else do you say? That you literally, because at least at this point, and this is how I'll wrap it, look, at least at this point, nobody has actually, or nobody connected with the NFL yet has died. There are certainly cases that are popping up of COVID-19, but nobody's actually died yet, right? So, but when it does, or when that does happen, I mean, at least now they have, you know, well, nobody's died yet, so blah, blah, blah. They can say that, and they can say, oh, look, our precautions are working, blah, blah, blah. And see, we told you we expected to have some cases, but nobody's died, or no, like, I mean, even having to quarantine people for a couple weeks is ridiculous and makes this whole thing not work. But, okay, whatever. Anyway, so, you know, at that point, though, they won't have anything left. They won't have anything left. Because if players die, if coaches die, if fans die, what are they going to say? Because then it will have been proven that none of this shit that these, you know, contingencies, or that these, you know, precautions that they put in place worked, and then they will have a decision to make. Are they going to shut down, or are they just going to let people continue to die? And, you know, I mean, we'll see, man. We'll see. Anyway, I'm going to get up out of here. I hope you guys appreciate my perspective and my videos. If you do, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you hit the bell if you want to get the alerts. Share my channel and videos with your friends and family. Leave your questions, comments, and concerns down in the comments section. And, of course, as always, make sure you follow me on Twitter at Dillon Tartaro. And with that, I am out. I'll see y'all soon. Fins up.